mixed up. It's in kind of what he found.
Hey guys, alright.
Can you understand anything I say?
Alright, so, uh, just wanted to let you guys know, things are starting to look up, even within the last few days, since I made that other video, the nighttime chat, and I appreciate everyone who's watched it. I apologize for being very down on myself and very judgmental of myself, and things are starting to change. You know, me and my daughter are starting to work together with each other, and and I know we'll get on top of this, and we're starting to right now. So, and it is very helpful, and we're starting to, figure this stuff out, and she has a job now, and between me and her, we're starting to be able to get out and be more active and do more active things. And, you know, there were some comments on the video that were very judgmental, and I did respond back to them. So, anyway, the reason I do those chat videos and, that I open up and say the things that I do is to let everybody know that we're real. We're real. And you know what? No, we're not on our property yet. You guys know that. It'll be this fall. I was aiming for this spring on the other property, but you know what? God had other plans. And it's okay because it's going to work out even better. And no, we're not going to be building our own cabin, but we're going to be building other things. We're going to have chickens, we're going to have ducks and maybe geese. We're going to have guineas. We're going to have possibly turkeys. I'd like to get some turkeys. And we're going to have our rabbits, and we're going to have our quail, and we're going to have dairy goats. And I don't know if we're going to go with a miniature dairy cow or not. It just depends, on what we're going to be able to do. We're definitely going to have our gardens and we're going to build our garden beds and that kind of thing. So, there's still a lot. And we're still going to be building up that homestead. And we're still going to be doing everything to become completely self-sufficient. That's what all this is about. And we're just going to go about it a little bit differently. And the switch to the different property is a help to us because it's going to be it's a lot easier to get to. And while we're learning to, while we're working out all the quirks of making sure we have all the necessities that we need to be completely off grid, it'll be more of a gradual process instead of just jumping right in and it being a complete, shock. And, sometimes that works out better instead of, running that risk of not being able to follow through. So, and I want this to be a pleasant changeover, and I know there's going to be problems that we're going to come across, and and I'm going to share all that with you guys. So, it's not always going to be fuzzies and rainbows on the videos, and I'm going to have those real talks with you guys. I'm going to share our real struggles with you guys. And I'm just asking, don't be judgmental, because except for what I share with you guys, no one fully knows what our family has completely been through. No one knows, what's there. No one knows the complete losses, that the heartaches we've dealt with. And yes, I can share, and I have shared, and will continue to share. Ask questions. Don't be judgmental. Ask questions. Hang on, guys. Okay, Leanne stopped over. Anyway, so, guys, just listen and, just be on the lookout for, the new stuff and for when we do get on our property and, start getting those really cool videos out there. So, anyway, I'm doing better. I mean, the other night was just, we've just had a lot of issues, family issues, and I was just having a hard time that night. So, be sensitive. Don't be judgmental, That's all I'm asking. So, anyway, so I want to start another video here. This is on section 5, and this is on home production. And this is chapter 15, and it's on canning. So I'm going to make this one kind of short. I'm going to do some short videos out of it, or several different videos. So anyway, so chapter 15 on canning. Lessons learned. The first successful harvest I had, and I used successful semi-ironically, is I spent more money than I made on the harvest. Was from an excellent variety of hybrid squash I planted called Green Griller. Green Griller is a dark green squash developed specifically to grill or roast. The plant produces round, slightly oblong fruit that's slightly bigger than a large man's fist. It was delicious. I planted nearly a 300-foot row. This variety produces a crop 38 days after germination. Wow. Which is really fast for summer squash. Yes, it definitely is. So I sold as much of the squash as I could, but one day I did the math and discovered I had grown more than 600 pounds of squash. That's a lot. I only sold half of it. I was drowning in squash. Absolutely drowning. This is a common problem with cucurbit growers. Squash is part of the cucurbit family. In fact, there's even a national sneak some zucchini onto your neighbor's porch day, August 8th. Unfortunately, I didn't know about this problem among gourd growers. So I gave away as much as possible. I found needy families and all sorts of people. I made zucchini bread and fried and baked and ate squash like a crazy person. At the end of it all, I had nearly 200 pounds of squash on my kitchen counter and kitchen table. There were even tubs of it on my office floor. At the time, I did not have a chest freezer. I did not have a pressure canner or a water bath canner. If you're going to grow your own food, you better have a way to deal with it come harvest time, or you will throw a lot of it away. After that, my wife and I took classes on canning, fermenting, and drying, so we would never be in that situation again. And I will be getting a dehydrator. I am still going to save up the money for a sun oven, because I really, 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 really want one of them. It's perfect for off-grid. And where we're going to be, it's going to be great out there. So, I'm going to have to save the money up for that. A bit of canning history. First, a little bit of history. Food preservation has always been sought by home cooks, small farmers, and homesteaders. Drying, fermenting, and root cellars are methods that have been attempted over the years. In fact, some believe pie was invented as a food preservation method, as people would cook stews and meat inside thick crusts to store them during the winter. Most of these methods worked, at least to some extent. Some of these processes were time-consuming and didn't produce large enough amounts of food to feed, say, an army. So during the Napoleonic Wars in Europe, I told you I can't English today, the French government offered a prize to anyone who could derive a method of preserving large amounts of food for an extended time frame to feed the French army, which was moving across Europe at the time. Nicholas Apert, a brewer, noticed that food cooked in jars didn't spoil if the seals held. He developed a method of putting food inside modified wine jars, sealing them with wine corks, and boiling the jars. Wait. Nebula? That's enough. Apert didn't know it that the process he stumbled upon was later codified and became pasteurization. Because the boiling killed harmful pathogens in the stew and the lack of oxygen prevented new ones from growing, the food stayed disease-free. He was awarded a prize of £12,000, about $240,000 today, for his invention. I could use $240,000. How about you guys? After the war, his method spread all over Europe. In England, because of glass shortages, tin cans were used and soldered closed with lead. Eventually, the technique made its way to America, where glass jars had tin lids sealed with wax. The method wasn't reliable until John Ladis Mason developed the Mason jar, which featured a screw-on ring and rubber-sealed top. In the late 1850s, the technology made canning a much more reliable activity and much safer as a result. Mason's jar, tragically enough, never made him rich. Manufacturers like Ball and Kerr started manufacturing the jars after Mason's patent expired in 1879. Mason died in poverty in 1902. That sucks. Canning became a popular American pastime through World War I and II as Americans in other countries faced food shortages. Home gardens called Victory Gardens during World War II became ways to supplement food for all Americans. And canning was an excellent way of preserving those harvests. During World War II, 41% of the food consumed by Americans was produced in those gardens. And I think actually one or two of our garden beds, I'm going to actually set up in that way in the way of like the Victory Garden. So see how that goes, especially with a square foot gardening method. So we'll definitely take you guys along on that journey. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Before World War II as well, and as during and after, canning was taught to American households by the USDA's Cooperative Extension Office, established in 1914. Through the years, Cooperative Extension developed the safety standards and safe food methods still taught in canning classes at Extension offices all across the country. All right, so I'm going to stop there. The next one is on canning safety. And I'll probably just do a real short video on that one. And then the one after that's going to be on water bath canning and pressure canning. And then I'll probably just go into storing canned goods and then top 5 canning mistakes. So we'll get a few videos out of this one. But I'll go ahead and get off from here and I'll get this one up there. And just remember, guys, leave comments. Please leave comments. I want to talk to you guys. But please don't be judgmental, okay? That's all I'm asking. You know, if you want to know why, you know, we're in a certain state of mind or whatever's going on, all you got to do is ask, okay? And I will talk. I will talk to you guys. And yes, some of the things that I say, especially on the chat videos, when things aren't great, might seem like excuses, but it's just how things are coming out and how I feel at the moment. And, you know, I have those times, you know, afterwards where I'm like thinking about things and, you know, but anyway, I will talk to you guys on the next video. And be sure you like and share the videos, share them on all your platforms, share them with friends, family, coworkers, other homesteaders, and people who want to get into homesteading, and make sure they share them on their platforms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.